What do we have?
Do the intro.
Why is it that every time we get to this point, you giggle?
Is it
Come on.
on?
Yes, it's been on this entire time.
What is up with you putting on and not letting people know?
She did.
I try. I do try. And
She did let us know.
you know what it is? She got, what is it, camera fright or whatever it is? Where they get all giggly. You want to know how to get over your giggles? Do you want to know how to get over your giggles? Hold your breath.
Look. I'm not going to hold my breath.
I'm telling you, that's how you do it. Hold your breath and
I
tense
can't
up.
hold my breath for long.
You don't
and
have
I'm
to.
just going to bust out laughing
Listen,
again.
hold your breath and tense up really hard.
Looks like she's
That's
trying to
hopeless.
Okay.
Hello, welcome to House Wine. My name is Sade. Also, I just Day. Today we are drinking Middle Sister's Rebel Red because Middle Sister has definitely came through. Every time we go to the wine store, we try and find something that we haven't drank yet, and it's like perfect because we're in our 30s now, and it's not like dessert sweet, and it's hella like really, really smooth, and it does not taste like candy, and I appreciate it.
What she's trying to say is that it's not Wild Irish Rose or MD 2020. Yes, we've encountered all of those, but it's not that. You grow up, get some better wine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, come on, somebody say something.
You gotta introduce yourself.
It's just a sad name. I mean, in tears though.
Okay. I got this.
This was supposed to be the colorism episode, but we changed it to the relationship episode. And the
Okay.
next episode will be the sex episode.
And you know who we have to blame for this? I can't say their names on camera, can I?
No, you can't.
Why? That's so much fun. I see your little pupil looking at me.
I thought you were going to believe me. Anyways, hi, I'm Lindsay. You can see me on Instagram as McWilson89. Follow me. That's me.
Don't follow her because she
She
can't even
successfully did it finally.
She did. That was actually really good.
You've been practicing.
Yeah, you don't get you a mirror and just leave you alone with your intro and just let you go over and over and over. Y'all already know who I am, so I'm not introducing myself.
All right, so we're talking about relationships this episode.
Oh Lord.
Next episode will be sex. We're not gonna bring sex into the episode.
I feel like sex is gonna come up in this.
It's going to come up, but we're not primarily focusing on it. We're focusing on the relationship aspect because they do go hand in hand, but you have to have, well, you don't have to have one without the other. If you're in a relationship, hopefully you're having sex. Hopefully.
I'm in a sexless relationship. I feel like that's on Dr. Phil. Couples in their sexless relationships. I didn't understand that when I got in this relationship, it was gonna be just a relationship with no sex. Like what kind of shit?
So I figured we'd break the ice, and this is going to be really interesting because I get to hear from both of your perspectives.
I want to talk about
What was your first date?
Like I said, are you sure you don't want this to turn into the sex episode? Because I feel like if we talk about our first date, it's going to turn into that.
No, it's not.
Do you want to
Our first date did not have anything to do with sex.
Your first date.
like a legit
I sat there and I asked
Wait,
you.
no, yes.
No, I asked you out on a date.
Yeah, 'cause
And
you was
I
trying to get in my...
told you to go and Well, wait, I didn't take you to go to coral.
I was like, that was your first date?
Go to coral.
No,
Went to the
I
buffet.
took her to Olive Garden because she loves
Italian.
lasagna.
Okay.
So I took her to the Olive Garden, and then no.
She was dressed like she was going to choir practice. She had on all white. It literally looked like, you know those choir robes that they wear on special occasions, and it's like white and it's like flowy. That's what she had on. And she was so upset when I came to the door. She was like, I look like an angel. I was like, no, you look good. You look great.
My little choir dress, which wasn't, it was just a dress that
I never heard the story.
But no, I got off of Wish.com. Thank you, Wish. But it was like,
because sometimes you get what you wish for, and sometimes
I'll be your genie. You just
but
may not
like
get what you
my
really
dress,
wanted.
it was like really, flowing, really loose, but it came to like right here. So it's like really short, like on you, like whenever I was your size, it was like right here, right where your shorts are.
It was a dirty choir robe. That's what dirty choir robe. But yeah, that was our first date. And we drank sangrias and we ate lasagna. I ate lasagna. I don't remember what you had. It was some kind of pasta, but it was delicious. And then, see, I knew this was going to... See, it's still going to turn into a sex thing.
Oh, yeah, because I remember.
Oh, no.
Because whenever she drove me back home, we sat inside the car in the back. And then we were sitting there kissing. Then there was a little sneaky little kid sitting there looking out the window. And so
right in the car.
Exactly, just sitting there watching us kiss.
So we're in there like this, like, and then you get that one eye and you look up like, there's a... Is that true? Is that true?
So we had to pull out and reverse the car to the front of the house to sit there and finish making out because this little creepy little kid was sitting there looking at
I
me.
mean, straight in the car, like
Like
I definitely see
Incredibles.
y'all. Yeah, like I definitely see y'all.
like the Incredibles, the little boy on the bike.
It's like I see everything that's happening. Like, yeah, saw you guys out back. Shut up.
I guess I'll share my first date. It was great. It was a art crawl, and because he was a little late because there was weather and there was transportation issues, but we had a good time once he did show up. Even in the rain, I hung out with him, and we both had hella drinks. It was, I think it might have been a Friday, like our first Friday type deal.
That's cool.
I don't remember, not certain, but
Probably lubricated too.
yeah, definitely. And it was a great time. He got so drunk that he talked about aliens, and I was like, "This is the one for me," because
He could have talked about worse things though.
I was like, oh, but you know how my patience is like. I ain't got the patience that I used to have. And it is so hilarious that I sat and I listened and we had a great time and we talked and I was like, okay, we can go on another date.
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see your face as he went on about E.T. and them coming down to Earth.
At the beginning of the date,
Oof.
like when he showed up and we decided that the art gallery, like the art crawl was a wash. Like funny thing is they even had a Little Mermaid in a tank. Like that was so cool. Like she was in a fish tank.
Like an actual person, like in a thing?
Yeah.
Was she
The
actually
downtown-
underneath the water?
No, she didn't fit all the way because she was an adult. But she had on fins and she was sitting in the water.
That's so cool!
Like the art gallery crawls are amazing downtown. I actually really, really like them.
Yeah, the arts festival.
No.
Almost like.
Almost like it's just once a month in the summer they did the art gallery crawls where all the art galleries in the cultural district were open.
I would say, Dad, we should go. But
Nah. But at the beginning of the date, before we were inebriated, he said, "So you drove down here?" I said, "Sorta." Because at that time, I wasn't comfortable with driving many places. Like, I parked my car at the parking lot in Swissville, and I just get on bus to go to work. He said, "So your car is where?" And I said, "My car is still in Swissville." He said, "We are going to Bloomfield." I said, "I know. So we got to go get my car." So he got on the bus with me and rode the bus to go get my car, and we went to get my car, and that's pretty much where they started, and we've been stuck with each other ever since through all the art that we could possibly imagine, and he's inspired some poems and all this, and we kind of just like each other's nurturing, even if we're opposites at times.
But it's funny because ever since me and Angel's first date, we've never been apart ever since. Like, never.
So, how would you describe a healthy relationship?
The only thing that I can say that would define something called a healthy relationship is that it shouldn't be work. It shouldn't be hard to love that person. It shouldn't be hard to sit around and just do whatever.
Both parties should be physically and mentally in the right space for it to be a healthy relationship. And like you said, it shouldn't feel like work. And how defining a healthy relationship is that both of you guys respect each other.
Yeah. Like, I don't come home and be like, ugh, I better try to do this because otherwise, it shouldn't feel like that. I should be able to come home and be at peace with the person that I'm with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, feel comfortable. Like, I can come home and be like, look, I just want to watch this whole series and eat popcorn and sit on the couch. Okay, cool. Let's do that. You know, or if I'm not feeling good, or if I don't want to do something, it shouldn't be hard to love that person. It shouldn't be hard to compromise. Like, and I mean, that the beginning part does take work. No lie. All that stuff takes work.
You gotta build a foundation. If you don't build a foundation,
you got to get to know each other. You are two separate individuals that have gone through two separate phases of life. Like, you didn't grow up with each other. Y'all don't know how he eats. I don't know how she sleeps. I don't know if she snores. I don't know anything about this person except that we're on this date, and I mean, I guess you breathe air and talk. Okay, cool.
How would you describe it?
You know,
I would describe a healthy relationship as like, oh gosh, it's so deep. It's like you have to be intertwined in the other one, not sexually, but I'm talking mentally intertwined. Like, you have to be open to that person as long as that person's open to you. And as long as you guys are putting, you put 50 on the table and that person puts 50 and you guys, equal 100. You guys are being honest with each other fully. And it's like that person, you could come home from a hard day at work, or you had a horrible day, you got a bad phone call, you got bad news, but the other person knows what you're going through, but they're not going to do anything but help you and say it's okay and be there for you more than sitting there badgering you like some people do.
Yeah, real talk. There's a lot of things you have to go through that, and even the good things. Like, the way I know that I'm in a healthy relationship is if something great happens to me and I can't wait to tell one person. Like, something great happens to me, it could be the dumbest thing. Like, I found $1.50 in the dryer. The first person I want to run and tell, because I know they'll be excited about it too, is her. That's it. Like, the things that I'm excited about, I know she'll be excited about. And even some shit that I know she really don't care about. That's great. You're weird.
Or when you feel like you can be yourself, and even if, like, something goes wrong, like, in your career or your personal life, and it's like a mess up, but you know that that person will always be there to pick you up from your downsides.
Mm-hmm. And it's a healthy relationship is also whenever somebody, your significant other, wants to do something, you're not really into what they're doing, but you sit there and you be not interested, but you sit there and you engage in it too. That's 50-50 because that person will sit there and engage in what you want to do or what you want to watch because they're not into it either.
You support, sometimes you may not have the same ideas. You may not be on the same path. Like there's a lot of stuff that I do that I'm like, I know she's not into. But I'll be like, look, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, how can I help? What do you need me to do? Can you pick that up? Can you put this here? I know you don't get why I'm doing this or why I like to do it, but this is what I like to do. And then when it's her turn and she got something that she wants to do, like there's some shows that I am not into.
Camping. She really wanted to go camping the very first time we went. I wasn't into camping. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like dirt. I don't like mud. I don't like bugs. I don't like anything like that. Anything touches me, I freak the heck out.
And she did.
And I just don't do it. And
but she went.
But I did it for her as much as I hated it. Every bone in my body said don't do it, but I did it. 99.5% of me said don't do it, but that 5% I did do it, and I engaged in her camping experience.
And now you enjoy it.
The day later, the first day I did not like it. Second day I got a little used to it. The third day when we were leaving, I loved it because we were leaving. But it's the fact that it's the experience of
that's compromise.
Yeah, it's compromise. But it was a great experience. The fact that I am excited to go camping again.
It's also about knowing the other person. Like, you don't put them in situations that you know they're going to be completely miserable in. Like, I knew she didn't want to go camping, but I also was like, all right, I know she's real bougie, so I'm going to make sure that we're not, backpacking into some ravine. We'll have, it'll be near a bathroom, we'll car camp. That way.
My tent is an 8-person tent, and I have a queen-size motor, bed.
Yeah.
Cot.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We got a big tent. Shit. You know what I mean? You do things to make the other person comfortable, which, while you're trying to compromise. It's not, well, we're going camping, we're going to backpack into this muddy area, and then we're going to sleep on the ground with the bugs, and you're just going to have to deal with it. No. All right, it's their first time camping. They don't want to do that, so let's go amp it up a little bit. And it shouldn't be hard for you to express that to somebody or for them to be like, I'll compromise.
But it's it's the little things that really make a big difference in your relationship.
People in unhealthy relationships
because they want to be,
and they don't know they're in
they know that they're in unhealthy. First of all, there's no not knowing. If you've ever stepped on a splinter, you know it hurts. Real talk. I mean, I always use this analogy: the dog's sitting on a nail, and the guy comes up to the dog and he says, what's up with your dog? Why's your dog howling like that? And he says, he's sitting on a nail. Why didn't he get up and move? Must not be hurting them too bad. The same with relationships. They stay in these relationships because they want to be in a relationship. They see all these other people in relationships and they're like
comfortable.
They're just like, I'd rather be in a relationship of any kind than to be alone.
Who it's with.
I don't want to be alone.
You have to deal with yourself. And a lot of times people that are in unhealthy relationships are not willing to deal with themselves alone, because you have to build yourself up before you can get into a relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get into a relationship and not being okay with yourself or not knowing who you are is trying to build a house without a foundation. It just doesn't work out. You encounter so many problems. And
Your house will fall.
The root of the problem is you.
Yeah. And how do you bring someone else into that? Like, you're two strangers meeting. You both have different backgrounds. You've both been raised differently. You know, you do things different ways. You know, this person may brush with Crest toothpaste. This other person may brush with Toast. You're two different people. So if you don't know who you are, then it's going to be real easy for this other person to come in and influence you and make you just think, oh, I'm going to just go along with what they're doing. And then you go further and further in this relationship and you start
lose
being
who you are.
And then you realize it and you're miserable, which makes you make that other person in the relationship miserable.
Like Lauren Hill said, how you going to win when you ain't right with them?
Right!
Mm-hmm.
There's no way for you to grow as a unit, as one, if one of y'all don't even know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of females and a lot of males just get into relationships with people that they don't have anything in common with, or they'll just get in relationships with them just because they want to be in a relationship, they want a girlfriend, but they don't really need or shouldn't have it, but they want it. But it's like they get in a relationship and they're nothing but a train wreck.
And you can ruin the other person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You mess up dating for the other person who is, when they first started dating you, they were in a very healthy mind state, and
Yeah, in a good place, doing their thing.
and then
here
they
come.
met you, and then they were like, what happened to me?
Right.
It's kind of like what was the saying? You can't drink poison expecting someone else, expecting it to affect someone else or something like that.
Mhm.
It's like you can't get in a relationship with, it's almost like people get in relationships with a negative or not a good mind state of what a relationship should be, and then they reach for people that are the worst people to be in a relationship with because they're not in the right mind state, but they get together and
Hurt people hurt people.
There's nothing else that they can do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you expect for somebody to do something great if they have never experienced anything great? How do you expect somebody to love you if they've never really experienced love? You don't know what their parents did to them. You don't know how they were raised. You know, and a lot of these people are getting into relationships and just moving way too fast. Way too fast. They don't know anything about this person. They don't know their mother. They don't know their last name. They don't know how they were raised. And then you find all this stuff out later, and then because they don't know how to deal with it, they make excuses. Well, they had a bad, upbringing and all of that, and they just put up with it. Mm-hmm. When if they got to know themselves, they realize, you know what?
They've had that foundation.
I get that you had a bad upbringing, and I didn't have that experience, and I know me, and I'm not going to sit here. I can't wait for you.
It all comes down to communication. If you don't know how to communicate with, you don't know how to express your own feelings the way that you're feeling to yourself, you can't imagine someone else that is trying to break that code down. And a lot of people go into relationships with walls and they're like, I'm okay with this. This person's just going to have to bend or break the way that I want them to bend or break. And that's not going to work because you got to compromise.
They have to bend and break for you, but you won't bend and break for them. Like, that makes no sense. But it's like, you have to, if you want to get in a relationship and you want it to be healthy and you want it to be strong, you have to build a foundation first before you can even build a correct house.
And you have to build a foundation not just with yourself, but after you finish building yourself up and you meet somebody, then you and this other person have to build up a foundation. You know.
I was like, I hate when people say, what are you bringing to the table? I'm like, we shouldn't use that analogy. What are you bringing to the table? Y'all should be building a table together and
Right,
things on
right,
the table
right.
together.
Because it takes a while. Like, and people are always like, well, how long did it take for you guys to be okay? It's a work in progress. And you know, I'm not saying relationships aren't work. They
you should
are.
never get, like, you should be comfortable in a relationship, but you should never get complacent in a relationship where you feel like it
don't matter, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also
however.
like it also goes by that everybody's different, so everybody's gonna go through something different. Like someone's not gonna go through how our relationship started out. Someone's not gonna go through her relationship started out or anything. Mm-hmm. Everyone is not the same.
And if you got a good foundation with yourself, then it shouldn't matter who you encounter because you know yourself. Yeah, because you know your standards, you know yourself. You be like, look, this is how I live. This is how I function.
And you know how you communicate.
Yeah, and I need somebody I need somebody to fit in with me, not me. Oh, they're added to me. No, I need you to fit. I need you to fit.
Stop trying to learn other people's love language before you learn your own love language.
Yeah, because I'm not stopping my train for you.
Because there's no translations happening there.
Yeah, I should not have to stop my train to let you on and then divert and go somewhere else for me to get to my destination.
We should both be going together.
Yeah, you should just be like, hey, you know what? I was going to my destination. This person hopped on and it made the train go faster. This is great.
But a healthy relationship is not healthy if the one person is sitting there pulling you down and getting you on their level or whatever, however you see it. That's not a healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. A healthy relationship is you being happy, that person being happy, you guys, getting together with common grounds or whatever, you guys making it happen and not making it fail.
So that brings me to the next topic of deal breakers. What's a deal breaker for you in a relationship?
Cheating is for me.
That was easy, simple.
I think there's so many.
Your top 3 deal breakers, since there's so many.
I mean, it's not so many for me. But I feel like when people say cheating, I think you need to be a little more specific.
Okay, I'll be specific.
No, don't attack me. I didn't do it. I agree with you.
You said
see how this shit goes?
Be more
because emotional cheating is still cheating.
It is. But because that means something in your relationship is broken, making them wander mentally. Mm-hmm. I know on your level, all realms of cheating are deal breakers.
It's like.
Did you look at her crooked? It's cheating. Done with you.
No.
I'm already there.
A thought becomes a plot, which becomes the action.
See, that ain't fair though, because I think about Rihanna a whole lot.
A thought is not cheating.
I mean, but what if you think about her a lot? Sorry.
I thought thinking of something is not cheating. Actions is cheating.
I think if you verbalize your thoughts.
What?
Yeah, because you know how niggas be? They be like, yeah, I seen this girl with this big butt the other day.
No.
And I thought about it, but I'm with you and I'm loyal. That's fucking cheating. That's cheating. If you got once you verbalize it, it's like, alright, well, what you mean you thought about it, but now if you had a wet dream.
Because even
you had a wet dream, or there's a rapper or somebody you admire, and you're like, in your head, but you never verbalize. You're not gonna say, man, I'll fuck that person. No. Like, in a serious way.
Oh, in a serious way.
Yeah, like you would never be like,
because people jokingly,
I saw so-and-so
in a relationship, they jokingly say,
that's different.
And both parties agree.
Yeah, that's different if you both agree, but I mean, you know how some people be like,
the neighbor.
Yeah, like, I was looking at her butt, but and I could have hit, but I'm with you. That's not cool. That's not cool. I think my deal breaker is lying, which encompasses cheating, because cheating is just an embodiment of a lie. I think lying is my number one. I don't like being lied to. I don't like the behind the back sneaky bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The cheating, I think by the time you get to cheating, it's kind of gone too far.
There's been things that already
there's some shit that's been going on, like, if it gets to that point,
Which comes, I think deal breakers is not a new thing, but a generational thing, because our grandparents and our great-great-grandparents, they didn't really have deal breakers. They were all about that unconditional love. Y'all gonna make it work.
That's right.
Regardless of how y'all gonna make it work, make it work. And I don't know what happened, but black women got tired, and they was like,
that's because the times changed. See, back in the day, you had to have a man to do shit. Like, there was no, women could go to work, women could make there wasn't that. That wasn't a thing. The man was the breadwinner. He would go out and get the food. He would go to work, and you fix it. That's just how it went. So if you didn't have a man or a husband, you're screwed. And then evolution took place.
So is that saying that unconditional love is a bad thing? Like, I'll love you through no matter what?
I think we need to stop saying that. Because I feel like anyone who says that, that's a lie. I think unconditional love should stay where it needs to be, which is in that other realm. Let those other beings or whatever you believe in.
So it's like
have that. I think
so there are conditions to
yes,
so
there's conditions.
I don't think unconditional love is proper right now, because it's like that's like you basically saying, I love you unconditionally no matter what you say or do. I'll go kill somebody, I'll go kill somebody, then I'll go fuck 50 women and come back, and then I'll have...
Y'all see why I gotta be careful with her, because that came right off the tip of her tongue. There was no pause, there was nothing. I want to kill some people, fuck 50 women.
I want to know where it's going. Let her go. I want to know where it's going.
But then I have 75 kids, so it's like...
What?
So... You still love me unconditionally, right, babe? Right? It's like, no. That's like, people take it like, I feel like someone said, okay, come back.
I'm trying. I'm hot. That was a lot of women. There's a lot of kids. A lot of kids. 75 though? Damn.
50.
I mean.
By 50 women.
Wow. I mean, you was like, when did you have time to heal?
Look.
When did you have time to
really? Hold on, wait. But I do know.
Sorry, I'm just imagining. I'm like, how could you even have that many?
But I do remember there's one guy, he did have 35 different kids by 32 different women.
So love has conditions.
I feel like if someone says that they have an unconditional, and even with kids, people are like, you're my child, I love you unconditionally, until they kill your husband, and then it's like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. I think when you say unconditional love, conditions
apply.
Yeah, I feel like it's like those credit card statements.
Like, I think
giving unconditional love, terms and conditions apply. Like, it should be that. Like, it should never.
Someone shouldn't cheat on you multiple times, and you're like, I love you no matter what. We can work through this. Or something.
I'm
okay
with it as long as you come back home to me.
I'm gonna put my hands on you, and I love you unconditionally. We can work through this. Like, I think my problem, I think. Sometimes some people don't know that they're in an unhealthy relationship, because sometimes emotional abuse is a thing.
That is.
Emotional abuse, you don't even know you're being abused.
There's 5 types of abuse. There's emotional, there's physical, there's mental, there's physical, verbal,
You're making me lose track because I'm trying to keep up with you. You said verbal, mental, physical. Yeah, that's only one. That's only 3. There's subcategories to those, but I think those are your main 3.
There are 5.
There are 5. I mean,
There's 5 different types of abuse that someone could go through.
Because not knowing that you're in an emotional abusive relationship sometimes is hard enough to get through.
Yeah.
And that's when we're talking about some people don't know they're in these unhealthy spaces. They're just like, we need to make it work, we need to make it work, we need to make it work. And sometimes if you don't know that you're the only person making it work.
Emotional.
And you can't build by yourself, a relationship by yourself. Unless you are.
Maybe sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Unless you are in a relationship with yourself, then that's not a relationship. Yeah, I guess it is a relationship.
It's not 5, it's 4.
Okay.
4 different types of abuse.
I mean, either way.
Mental, physical, verbal. Oh, great. Just
like my ex, every time we get into an argument, he'd say, let's just be friends. I didn't see the pattern until, like,
because that's literally, he's reverse psychology you to be like, if I just put you in the friend zone, you're going to really try and come at me. You know what I mean? Like,
And we did that for so long to the point where I was like, one day I woke up and I was like, nah, we're not going to be friends because friends don't treat people like this. And maybe we should not be anything because if you can't love me the way that I want you to love me, then we shouldn't be in this space.
People don't understand that. For some reason, they get real upset when you don't want to be friends. Like, unfortunately, some people are designed and built where they can't just be friends with you. Once they've gotten their mind into this, we're in a relationship, things have taken place and made me feel here that I'm in a relationship with you. I've put all my, things into this, and then you're just like, let's just go back to start and be friends. No, why? So I can sit here and watch you move on with somebody else and hurt my feelings? No,
like
I don't want to be
win a race and constantly putting the brakes on.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to, and then they get upset. I don't understand that. Like, why are you mad? Because I don't want to be friends.
He got upset. And I was like,
I never understand that.
There's nothing more costlier than your peace.
I can admit that I have been in all 4 abusive types of relationships. But after I went through all 4 of those types of abusive relationships, I had to take time out. I took years to get to know me and to heal myself before I can even think about getting another relationship.
And you need that break. You need that pause.
Because you need to reevaluate yourself. You got to get to know yourself again.
It's like a reset button. You got to reset.
You need to get refocused on what you were doing before that person entered and interrupted your life.
Yeah, like when we were talking earlier, you could be that person that was that person who wasn't ready. The other person wasn't ready, and you was ready for a relationship, and now you're not ready for a relationship because that person infected you.
Yeah, because they weren't ready. It's all about being that piece of the puzzle. And a lot of people are trying to make something fit where it don't go. And they don't. They keep pushing and keep pushing. Oh, well, he only hit me one time.
That's enough.
It's okay. He's a good dad. I don't want my kids to grow without a father, or he just needs to get his shit together. Maybe somewhere down the line, you make these excuses. You make these excuses. You rocking again? You ain't even. What's wrong with that? It's like.
Wait, I thought they'd always just doing it, just in mode. I'm there, and then their system, she goes like this. And I thought that was like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah, these people making excuses for people that just don't fit their puzzle because they're so afraid of being alone. And I don't understand what the fear is. You're never alone. You're with yourself. Be with yourself. Know yourself. Love yourself. Spend money on yourself.
Be afraid to knock the puzzle over if it ain't gonna work. Just
why?
That is reason why a lot of these males and females get into these relationships because they're afraid to be alone.
And
they're looking
some people, they like to manipulate other people
Mm-hmm.
and prey on your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look out for that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you, like I said, if you don't know who you are, and especially
They
if you
prey
don't
on
have,
that.
Yeah.
Like,
if they figure out, hey,
I can
this
hold
person,
her or him.
yeah, they don't know what they want to do. They ain't going nowhere. Here, I can teach them this, and I can make them do that.
Exactly.
You know, and you're in a new relationship. You're probably a
You
little
done lost who
excited.
you were.
You're like, yeah, that's new. That's exciting. You don't even know that all the dreams and stuff
That's
that you
who I'm
could have
supposed to
had are
be
not
with.
even your own. Those thoughts are not yours. You've been molded. You've been transformed until you get out of it.
Those
Which a lot of these
thoughts,
women never
those
get out of it.
dreams were
Mhm.
not yours. It
Yeah.
was somebody else's.
And then you look up in 30 years and went past and you still fight with this nigga.
But bad relationships aren't all bad. They teach us things.
Mm-hmm.
What's
They
a
do.
bad relationship taught you?
Oh, me? Oh, Lord. What is a bad relationship? There's so many.
A bad relationship
Bad
taught me
relationships.
that I'm pretty.
Whew.
Like I wouldn't have known that I'm a pretty awesome catch if I wasn't in a bad relationship.
I think bad relationships have taught me that it shouldn't be about money. It shouldn't be about putting on airs. When I say airs, like I shouldn't have to transform myself into someone else for you to want to be with me. I shouldn't have to be this person for you. I shouldn't have to spend money for you to want to stay here. You know, I should just be able to be me, whether that's me.
It's
in-
enough.
Yeah, if
Being
that's
you
me
is
in a
enough.
fitted and some Timbs, or if that's me in a dress and some heels, I should not have to change who I am every day to fit who you want me to be.
Mhm.
Especially because now I had to take a step back and know who I am. Like, hey, I cook, I
Sometimes
clean,
you shouldn't be
I got
afraid
a
to
job.
be like, I'm
Yeah.
that chick. Like,
Yeah, like sometimes you forget.
yeah. Like,
And it's crazy when you get into these terrible relationships and they tell you ain't shit and you ain't gonna be
wait,
shit.
I'm awesome.
Or they say something to you and you start believing that stuff and then you get out of it. You like, wait a damn
the
minute.
next person will really appreciate
I
me
got
as
a
much
car,
as
I got a
appreciate me.
degree, I got a job, I'm not ugly, I got family, I got a
I
good
got
option.
options.
I got options.
I'm thankful. I'm as much as I hate the bad relationships I went through and the abusive relationships I went through. I'm thankful for it. I'm humbled towards it because it taught me a lot about myself and I learned a lot. Like, one thing that I can say out of everything that I went through that it all taught me was that I'm a strong black woman and it's very hard to break me.
I got a whole book out of my last relationship.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it wasn't all bad because I made some beautiful art out of this situation. It took me, I dated myself for 2 years is what I called it. Because I was in that relationship on and off so long that I was like, I need to get realigned with who I am, figure out what I want in a relationship before I just go jumping in a relationship and not having any expectations. Because if you have no expectations going in a relationship, you don't accept whatever is thrown at you because you're like, I don't expect much. It's a relationship. And you're like, when you deserve so much better, I'm like,
It's standards. I
yeah.
think women and men have gotten so far away from standards.
Don't lower your standards.
And I mean, basic standards. Does he bathe every day? That's a big one. How's their hygiene? I mean, these are real things that I've heard women say to me. Well, I don't know how to tell him that he stank. Like, I don't know how to tell him. I'm
Did
like,
he change his drawers?
I'm like, but when you met him, did he smell that way? Yeah, but I thought it was just because he ran to see me. But then the
like,
next day,
standards in the list are not the same thing. Standards in the list are
standards are like, it's not a list. It's not what you want. It's
what you
should, every human being should basically do.
what you'll accept in
Yeah.
a relationship.
They bathe every day. They have aspirations towards working and earning
money to keep a roof over their head and possibly a roof over you. You know, they respect their parents. I don't care what their parents did. If they're like, you know, Lorena Bobbitt or the Menendez brothers, at some point there should be some level of respect. Yes, they killed people, but they are still my mother and father. I may not agree with what they did, but that's still mom and dad. I can't choose that. You know, do they respect themselves? Because there's a lot of people out here that don't even know that they're disrespecting themselves. You need somebody that respects themselves, because if they can't respect themselves, how are they going to respect you?
And also, like a bad relationship that you're in or whatever, they're disrespecting you, and you're also disrespecting yourself because you don't respect yourself.
Mm-hmm. You don't respect yourself enough to walk away. And you'd be like, oh, maybe I should have did this different. Maybe I should, like, relationships don't have to work. You can't make them work
If they don't.
If they don't, it's just not going to work.
You can't make me love you if I don't. And you have to be able to accept if you run into that person or you are that person. Sometimes we don't even know that we are that person. I don't really love this person, but I'm too afraid to tell them. Why are you wasting?
You're too afraid to tell them because you're too afraid to be alone.
Or I'm too afraid that I might not find something better. Or I might not find something after this.
And I find most people that jump from relationship to relationship because they're too afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
Or the people that need to be alone,
yes.
but they're scared to do it because they know they got some work to do on themselves. How do you guys feel about baggage?
I feel that certain baggage is like a deal breaker. Like there's some baggage that I feel like is just a little too much, especially when it spills over into your relationship. Like babies' moms. I feel like that's those.
And
if you got a crazy baby mama,
it's not even
that you know
baby.
may kill your current love interest. And you don't tell said current love interest that you got a crazy baby mama. Like exactly the details of the crazy. Because a lot of people be like, I mean, she crazy, but she not that crazy. Until she sets fire to your car. That's baggage I'm not dealing with. You know, crazy family members. Family members that possibly could be in the KKK. Those are baggage I ain't got time for. What? I watched a lot of Jerry Springer and Ricky Lake. And
how do you feel about baggage? It's just jaded.
Baggage can be heavy on the it's like if your significant other is carrying it and they're constantly keep talking about it, keep bringing up the parts that hurt them the most, and it may annoy you to keep on hearing it. You may want to kill the person because you're tired of hearing it, but
I feel like that was shots fired. Was that
bang,
shots fired?
bang.
Ow.
Baggage
No,
could be a
but
good
listen,
thing.
no. But I'm saying that like you.
Dig that out later. Sorry. It's fine. It's just a
But
shoulder
I'm saying that like the baggage from your old relationships, that one in particular that you went through that hurt you the most and damaged you the most. Like, you tell me about it, and you told me about it numerous times, and it's like, it hurts me, the fact that that person hurt you, and it's like, that baggage that you still carry, it hurts me that person, I relive what they did to you, and it hurts me, like, I want to go back and kill the person, and then wipe my hands clean, and just sit there and say, oh, wait, I couldn't have did that.
Not stable. Not stable.
But baggage could also be a good thing because as long as the two people in the relationship together are unpacking each other's baggage, it could be a growing experience. Because everybody, we're in our 30s, let's face it, everybody that we meet
Has
gonna
been through
bring
some
back,
shit.
Yeah, we're gonna bring baggage to the table.
There is no way that you can say that you haven't lived through something. If you, and there's another deal breaker. Don't date people who haven't been through something. If you're one of us, it's counteractive for you to be with someone who ain't been through some shit. Because then, when y'all start going through some shit, they won't know how to handle it. And it's not fun being with someone who doesn't get it. Like, look,
Who doesn't
we have to boil
understand.
water because the gas is off. Mommy and Daddy aren't going to bail us out. We just going to have to go through this for another couple of days until I get paid, and then it'll come back on. I need you to you need to understand what it's like to go through some stuff. When you lose somebody, you need somebody that's with you that has been through some things, that knows what you're going through
How
now.
to navigate and grow together.
Yeah, like, because that's hard.
Like, you need to be with somebody who, if something happens, if something happens, if something's going on in that person's life, you've been through it too, so you can help them. You can help support them. You can help them through their toughest times or whatever. Compared to someone who doesn't know what the hell you're going through, and it's like, I don't care.
Just
I know
water
what you're
each
going
other
through.
so y'all both can grow. I grew up in a blended family, so I'm like, I got to see the way that my mom and dad navigate in a relationship. I'm not saying that their relationship goals, because they're definitely not. I tell my mom that often. I'm like, I love you guys dearly, but y'all not relationship goals. And it's all about, like, the communication while unpacking and helping each other grow and not being afraid of being uncomfortable with each other's
And
baggage.
helping them overcome their baggage, helping them,
Unpack.
unpack and let go of it.
I think as millennials, I'm not going to use the word millennials, as young people, and looking back at what our
We ain't
parents
young
and
no
we're young. But seeing what your grandparents went through and what your parents went through, it's kind of like you need to learn from what they've gone through and do better. It doesn't mean that, what they went through or how they handled things was wrong. It just means you found a better way to deal with it.
Exactly.
And they all had baggage. They all had
Times
baggage,
evolve.
No job, I'm black.
They only
blah,
dated
blah.
each other because
Yeah.
of proximity back then.
Right, like, y'all married now. Listen, I got family members who grew up in slavery, so you want to talk about baggage? There's a lot of baggage that goes along with that. Well, we can't date each other because you're on the wrong plantation. Look, we got way lighter problems and way lighter baggage, but it's still baggage.
But it's also not an excuse to give up on a relationship.
I have ancestors that got my great grandma was she was in slavery. Her the person that they were trying to marry her to was not a slave. He was actually a free man, and they sat there and somehow back then, I don't know how they went through it, but those two, it was she didn't know who she was marrying and he didn't know who he was marrying, but they knew whenever they sat there, it was arranged marriage, and they had to be married and that's how she got free, but she couldn't stand his ass. But it happened. But
I don't know. I think like I said, some baggage is not a deal breaker. There's normal baggage out there.
Like, kids aren't a deal breaker for me, because you can't expect a guy to control. Like, when people say baby mama drama, you can't expect someone to control their baby's moms. No, you can't. You can't hold another person responsible for the actions of somebody else, even though the kid resulted in that.
You right.
You're right.
Because the kid didn't.
But you can control you.
But the kid
And how you react. That's the only thing.
Right. And you investing in that problem. I feel like
It's not a
when
problem.
you're talking about somebody that got kids, you have to be in the mindset to want kids. And to be ready to have, like, look, he got kids. Is this what I want? There's a lot of people out here to get in these relationships with these men and these women who have children. And that ain't what they want. They just in it for show. Oh, I'm down for whatever, baby. I'm cool. And then they realize what it entails, and they're like, check out.
But some women, sometimes they're like, it's interesting because me and my college friends, we were laughing one day, and we were like, this was before I was in a relationship, and we were like, oh, I'm messing around with somebody's stepmama. And I was like, that's fine. Like, we don't think like that. And sometimes, because you think about the kid, you don't think about the parent, the other parent involved.
But you
Very
have to.
true.
But you have to. We live in times where people are killing each other.
That's what happened with me. I sat there. I got in a relationship. I didn't really care about the guy. I just cared about the daughter. And, I bought her everything she wanted. And I was cool with the baby's mom. So it's like, hey.
But blended families can work if everybody involved is a team player.
Right.
But it could be a thing from hell if everybody in a team player and you're like, we too old for this. And you're right. It could be something that you're like, I'm going to have to walk away from you because but mostly everyone has kids now.
No, they don't. No.
But
I don't agree
it's
with
also,
that.
but
No, they
it's
don't.
also
Well,
said-
millennials don't have kids.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, ain't nobody going back there.
But it's
Nah.
also said because it's like the baby's dad will sit there and purposely find a girlfriend to sit there and care for their kid when
Women do the same thing.
It's funny, out of my, I think we're there's 5 or 6 of us now, only one of us has a kid on the way. And like my college friends, mostly people that are like, that I went to college with, they don't have kids. People I went to high school with, they have kids. But my college people don't have kids.
People who go to college, most,
I
y'all
got
gonna
student
bite my,
loans.
y'all gonna bite my head off, and I don't care. People who have gone to college, especially our age, don't have kids.
I got student loans on student loans on student loans.
Student loans is your child. Congratulations, you're having a bill.
My loan was $40,000 when I first started. Interest,
Sorry.
but because you
I
don't,
choked on a dollar sign.
because you don't get a job. I went to a private university. I didn't know no better. I just knew I wanted to go there all my life after visiting when I was a kid. So they don't teach you about interest in high school. They don't teach you about interest in college. But for some reason, I had to find X, and I've never had to find it. Don't want to find X.
Okay. If Y equals this, what is X? And you're
But
like,
I look at my
oh,
lender,
God.
I look at my bill, and I'm like, why does it keep going up? I'm paying you. And they're like, well, you're not paying on the principal. You're just paying interest. And I'm like, so eventually, because you don't find a great paying job right out of college that can afford to pay more than the interest on your student loans, my student loans are hella a lot. And a lot of people don't know, when you marry someone with student loans, you
Sure.
take
that's
they take-
another baggage on you. So it's like,
I think the
that's double the baggage.
The biggest thing is education.
But the good
A lot of things that they didn't know,
Mhm.
we know now. We know that, by the way, that total $50,000 that was your tuition that you took that loan out for, it's going to double because now
You're
you
married to me.
No, because now you have interest.
There's a guy that's a
That's it.
dentist. He owns his own dentistry. I was reading about him. He has $1 million in student loan debt, but he still got married anyway because he's like, I'm just going to pay the minimum on it because I can't afford to pay it
But
off.
think about his wife. His wife got to do with all that.
Yeah.
That's why they're just paying the minimum. Like, even like when you marry someone that has child support, if you don't fill out the right paperwork, that child support is yours.
Right.
They will garnish your wages since you're attached to that person now. Like, I think, I don't know, like student loans
don't
is the
understand
biggest
it.
legal scam right now in the United States.
I went to community. I turned down a 4-year private institution to go to community college because I thought it was going to be cheaper. And it's not. I mean, okay, it is cheaper than the $75 I would have had to pay. Well, which would have turned into $110. But either way, I still got debt.
The only problem, the thing
Right.
is, student loans, like the price of tuition keeps going up. Income, like salaries, are not really going up.
Going down.
They're,
Especially now since the pandemic, like some of these jobs don't exist anymore.
so I'm like, yeah, I'm making more money, but I can't afford to pay you
Right.
$300 a month in student loans. Especially
I
since
got rent.
that's more than my car loans.
I got rent. I'm being an adult. I have a car note. I have insurance. I have groceries.
I went to college, so
I
I
have to
eat ramen
drink because
noodles every night. Like, before college, I was eating ramen noodles. While in
people,
college,
and they
I was
always
eating
wonder,
ramen
you know,
noodles.
like you hear these stories about the schools and they're like, oh, we're introducing more healthy options. And you're like, fuck them. Do you know what my healthy options were? Ramen noodles. Now y'all want to give them Brussels sprouts and green beans? Fuck them.
I
Who
was
cares
like-
about them?
I was like, y'all talk about the freshman 15. I lost 15 pounds my sophomore year when I moved on
Couldn't
campus.
eat. Can't eat. I can't afford pizza.
I was like, I don't have any money. Also, I don't eat beef or pork, so most of the things you offer, I can't eat. I'm not eating that because that doesn't look edible.
Mm-hmm.
And my roommate at the time was like, let's eat the Ready Mac. I was like, I'm not eating that. I'm black. That's not mac and cheese. I had a stove in my room, and I was like, it's just not good. I was like, I lost 15 pounds between not being able to afford food and
Just not being able to eat the stuff.
eat the food. And there was also that birth control factor that was in that made me lose weight. To the fact that my friends were like, are
Did
you
you give me the
okay?
names to that birth control that you were on? Because I feel like it would benefit me in another kind of way. I feel
Yeah,
like
you lost weight.
You lost
I
weight.
gained weight.
I lost 15 pounds in college after taking a pill. It made me hella emotional.
Do you have any more of those pills? Because I feel like the pills that I have to make you lose weight aren't working. I feel like that would be right up my alley.
But they make you very emotional. So, I think to end the episode, we're going to, what is one word that you would describe your ideal relationship in? You can explain if you want to.
Wait, my ideal what with you?
Use one word to describe your ideal relationship. You can elaborate if you want to, but you got to start with one word.
That's my word. That's gonna be my
Meow.
Yeah, meow.
Melanie is such an attention whore.
No, happy. Happy. I think so many people get away from happy. Not, being happy as a couple. Being happy with yourself and what you see. Because you could be happy with yourself, but when you look out at whatever your lifestyle is or whatever your life situation is, that should make you happy too. Like, I should come home and feel happy. I should be around people and feel happy. I should be around my spouse and be like, happy.
Mine is growth.
Horny. That's what yours was, horny.
Growth is what she said.
Because as long as we've been in a relationship, we've been doing nothing but growing. And growing in a relationship is very strong and very grounding. And it's very, wait, did I already say strong?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very strong, very grounding, and very positive.
Mine is adventure because I like adventure, and a relationship has its ups and its downs, like a roller coaster. But you should always want to stay on the roller coaster. Like, as long as you're still enjoying the relationship, stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's
roller coasters.
my life motto is, as long as I'm happy doing something, I'm going to continue doing it. But when it's not fun anymore, I'm going to be like, but there's a certain point, like, relationships aren't always fun, but you know when it's time to go, and I'm like, as long as it's fun, as long as I'm still enjoying myself, as long as we're still growing together, we're gonna still be partners and growing up together, and this is where I need to be.
As long as you avoid that stagnant area.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think a lot of relationship people don't realize when they've gotten to that stagnant point where you're doing the same things, you're arguing about the same stuff, you're not going anywhere progressive. It's not fun, it's not bad, it's just...
But it's like growth is a really good thing because that's meaning that you're wanting to grow in the relationship with this person as long as that person is wanting to grow with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, growth is a big thing. You don't want somebody that's just like, I'm okay being here. I mean, unless that's your thing. If you're okay where you're at and you want somebody to stay here, but if that's not what it's about and you want to travel and you want to do things, you need somebody who's going to want to do those same things.
Like, I like to celebrate when Pat succeeds in something new or he's happy about his accomplishment because that motivates me to be like, I want to accomplish more too. I like that feeling. I want you to celebrate me.
You want to be a catalyst for each other.
I want you to celebrate me too. So I enjoy that we're constantly leveling each other up to a point where we're in these spaces that is great.
Yeah. That's what you want to do.
Even though we get on each other's nerves at times because there's no one that you're going to be in a relationship with that's not going to get on your nerves.
You want somebody that's going to get on your nerves.
But
at the end of the day, you don't want to be on with nobody else and nowhere else.
Like, you'd rather that person get on your nerves than anyone else.
As long as you can get on these nerves in a healthy way. It's different when, like, you really, like
you're nitpicking.
Can't stand your ass.
It's when it's like one of them serious situations and you just need to.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's something like, I'm going to keep picking at you about this because I know you don't like it, but I'll stop when I know that you've had enough.
I always do that to you.
Nah, you're just annoying.
Like, my thing is, I clean, and sometimes I clean the sink out. Like, constantly I'm cleaning the mirror in the sink in the bathroom. And it's almost like, I swear, I kid you not.
He can smell when you've cleaned it. He runs in there and he's like...
He has on your mouth.
He's like, I'm going to comb my beard. Why? I feel like it's... Do you have some kind of system where you just see that?
I wanted to say it for just a couple more minutes. No!
Angel knows whenever I'm mad at her.
Because she'll wash dishes.
I'll wash the dishes. Or I'll just start.
Which just makes me want to fix it. And my way of fixing it is to cook, which makes me dirty up more dishes. Which then makes her upset because the sink was clean and now it's full of dishes. And I'm like, I'm not doing the dishes because I just cooked. She's like, nah, but I just did the dishes and you cooked and dirt. Yeah, see how this goes.
Because we can keep going on and on about relationships. This episode wasn't even supposed to be about relationships, but
it was supposed actually.
Yeah.
No, this relationship was supposed to be about
Yeah. But this is like, you never know what you're gonna get every week. Until next episode. We're not even saying until next week because it's a pandemic. We can't promise you next week. Until next time. I'm Sharday. I just
next week because next week we're talking about colorism.
Well, you
we're
sign off.
not. We're talking about sex.
Sign off. I want you all to know that you subscribe to this channel to save my mental health stability because when I go to jail, I know, and I'm like I told y'all before, if y'all want to buy her, it's just 1-800. It's AngelLeeTv. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, it should be somewhere around here.
Oh, it's dating.
It's dating. Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. Yeah, it's going to be right there. Subscribe to the channel right there. Alright, leave a comment, follow me on Instagram, it's Lee Angels, also AngelLeeTv, also go to YouTube, AngelLeeTv, and subscribe, tell a friend, talk about us, and drink while you're watching this.
You don't know what wine we're drinking next episode.
Yeah.
We don't either.
We never do, as long as it's alcoholic. Hey, got this. Bye!